Flash deal review! What's up, everybody? Chris coming at you. Hopefully you're having a better day than I am, because I woke up and I went to the microwave and damn it! It was really great. Really awesome. But today that I'm recording is Mother's Day, so Monday for you all, but happy late Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I actually got my mom, surprise, running shoes. All right, so my mom just graduated with her master's, and so she says she wants to focus on running more. And my mom loves hiking. We just generally didn't get to do it as much growing up. So I thought that a pair of trail shoes would just be perfect. And I think these will really be something that will, you know, make her excited to get out moving her feet. Hopefully getting her out to the trails will be a lot of fun, and hopefully I can join her for a few of those. So happy Mother's Day, Mom. These are the Speed Goat 4s from Hoka One One, which, as you guys know, I love my Speed Goat 4s. But that's not the shoe we're talking about today. If you're like me, you don't like spending too much money. And if you're also like me and you love owning running shoes and lots of them, then you definitely don't like to spend too much money and you like to catch a break when you can, which is why I'm taking a different approach to product review today. I always am checking out Running Warehouse's deals or deals on other websites. And so I thought it would be super valuable to you all, my awesome viewers and friends, to benefit from the countless hours I spend looking for these. But today we have a super exciting deal. Running Warehouse has knocked down the price of their Escalante 2 to $88.88. Guys, this shoe is normally $130. But I managed to nab some for $88.88. I took these out for a run. Boy, I loved them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this shoe down from the bottom up. The first thing that I really loved about the Ultra Escalante 2 is the outsole. I hate when there's not a lot of protection for the midsole, all right? And Ultra has this really nice Ego midsole, and they have awesome rubberized padding here along the outsole that really keeps this midsole from wearing away. Okay, so it gives you some nice protection. You're not going to be getting a lot of wear and tear there underneath. That's a huge plus for me. That's going to add a lot of miles to the potential for this shoe. Okay, I'm thinking I could probably run in this thing for about 400 miles before it starts breaking down. But I mean, seriously, 400, 500 miles in these, I think is totally within reason. Moving on from the outsole, we have the midsole with Ultra's trademark Ego midsole, and this is a moderate cushion shoe. I am a moderate cushion guy. I really feel comfortable with shoes that have moderate cushion. It makes me feel a little bit faster, a little bit more light on my feet, and so I really enjoyed the midsole of this shoe, and I think it made it a little lighter, and it felt like a racer to me. Even though this is not necessarily their racing flat, it definitely seemed that way to me. This is very comparable to the Saucony Kinvara, except for the fact, with our next point, that it is a 0 drop. First of all, for all of you newbies out there to the shoe analysis game, and drop, also known as the offset, is the heel to toe drop in a shoe. That means how high is it in the heel versus how high it is in the toe. Now, most shoes are going to have more cushion or more stack height of the midsole in the heel than it does in the toe, which allows for that foot to have a more slanted angle and to kind of mimic the forefoot strike, right? And so what Altra decided to do is they decided to tell anybody that bought their shoes, hey, we really recommend you run on your forefoot and with a higher cadence because our shoes are zero drop. That means you have the same amount in the heel that you have in the toe, and it's supposed to mimic what the foot wants to do naturally. Instead of altering with the shoe, they want you to alter what your foot is doing. All right? Now, if that seems scary, I understand. For me, it was scary at first too. When I first tried out an Altra shoe, I was a heel foot striker and I hated it. Definitely a word of warning. If you're not somebody who focuses on your midfoot and your forefoot in your foot strike while running, might not be a shoe you want to consider. However, if you're somebody who aspires to have better running form, this is a shoe that can help encourage you, right? This is not a shoe that's going to fix your problem. Here at Share the Road, we are not in the shoe solution camp, okay? I do not believe that shoes are the solution to physiological problems. That's all I'm gonna say on that for now. Zero drop shoe, most people either love it or hate it. I love it. I think it's something awesome to put into your shoe rotation. It's a great workout for some different muscles in your body, and it helps you stay on top of what your natural running form is. Everyone's is different, and running naturally can be good practice. Moving on, so that's a zero drop shoe. Moving on to the upper. Now, in general, the general shape of the Altra is different than most shoes. Just like with the Lone Peaks from the first vlog, which actually have a much wider toe box even than the Escalante, and we're going to get to that in a second. Altra is known for having a wide toe box. This allows for the toes to splay when they touch the ground, right? Because if you ever walk around barefoot and you notice that when your foot comes down and you apply weight, your feet or your toes spread out in order to, I don't know, give balance. I'm not a PT. But Altra said, why would we make narrow shoes? If your toes naturally want to spread out, why would our shoes not have room for your toes to naturally spread out? So they created a wider toe box. The Escalante 2 has a more narrow toe box than most Ultras, all right, and it actually caused quite a bit of controversy within the Ultra community. If you look on Ultra's website, this shoe actually got horrible reviews, and if you look through, almost all of them are Ultra diehards who really lived and breathed on the wider toe box and hated the fact that they made it more narrow and that the upper changed, which we're going to get to in a second. And so they had some issues with that. Really, a lot of those negative reviews came from people who didn't like the fact that they changed up their toe box, which is understandable. If you're going with Ultra, you're assuming that you're getting that super wide toe box. This toe box is still wider than most shoes on the market, however, not to that Ultra standard that they had repeatedly released. So I understand their frustrations. However, for me, who usually runs in Hoka's and New Balance, Nike, Saucony, I found this toe box to be wider and a welcome addition into my shoe rotation. Now, with the upper, they did make a difference from the Escalante 1 to the Escalante 2, and that was that the upper will be a bit more snug. Now, it felt like the rest of my running shoes. So as far as the upper goes, my Pegasus are knit. This felt very similar to the knit Pegasus 36, and they did allow some perforations for more breathability. This shoe breathes very well. It's going to be a perfect shoe for those summer runs, especially when you're doing some faster summer runs. So I really, really like the upper. Speaking of the upper, this color's dope. Let's just face it. This is one of the coolest looking running shoes I've ever owned. Moving on past that to the tongue. I actually have to touch on the tongue for a second because I absolutely love it. It's thin, it's flexible, but it also at the same time somehow has this cushion to it. It's like a sock. Oh, it's so good, so good. And then furthermore, I love the lace. I don't know, I really, really enjoy the laces. They seem durable, they tie really well, they lock down onto the upper, great, and I'm just really a fan. Specs for the Ultra Escalante 2. 8.8 ounces at size 9. 24 millimeter midsole, 6 millimeter insole. So the insole of this shoe is actually quite thick. It's 6 millimeters, okay? So pretty thick. You can see there how thick that bad boy is. And they say that this shoe is actually they say that this insole actually molds to the unique way that your foot moves. I already have husky hair in this. All right, so that adds up to about 30 millimeters of cushion, which is quite a lot for a shoe that's this light, and I think is one of their more minimal models. It's quite a bit of cushion, so definitely a shoe that if you're somebody who feels like they need just a bit of protection for your foot, but you want to go fast, and you want that old school racing flat feel, this is the shoe that I definitely recommend. So that is the Ultra Escalante 2. I'm a huge fan. I will be putting every bit of 400 to 500 miles on these bad boys. I am in love. It's gonna be a fun summer with these around. Thanks guys for tuning in to the first flash deal review. If you haven't already, hit the like button below on this video if you found it useful. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you haven't yet, make sure you check out the Share the Road podcast. We are right in the middle of the DNF Diaries, Stories from the Uncrossed Finish Line mini-series, and we've only had one episode in it so far. We're gonna have a few more to come. This past week on Friday, I released a conversation that I had with local triathlete Kay Ewing in her first attempt at a full Ironman and not crossing the finish line. She also gave us all kinds of other great and hilarious stories. So make sure you head over to anchor.fm or whatever platform you listen to check that out today. Thanks guys. Remember, train hard, rest easy, and share the road. I'll see you Wednesday. Abel, out.